Hey guys, Steph Davis here from flipthiswholesaler.net, where I teach you to make more money, flip more houses, and kick more ass. It is Monday afternoon, and I have a brand new Q&A Monday video for you guys. My question this week was actually posted on my blog a couple of days ago. This is from Alex, and Alex writes, I am confused on a video you did about it being illegal for someone who doesn't have a real estate license to match a seller to a buyer for a fee. So is it not possible? Also, do you only wholesale homes that are 100% paid off, or do you also work with homes that have mortgages? And how will you go about the contract process? Thank you. All right, so we have several different questions here today. So I'll start with the first one, which is about bringing a buyer and a seller together and collecting a fee if you are not licensed. If you're not licensed and you're doing that, if you're bringing a buyer and seller together and collecting a fee, that is considered brokering without a license unless you have equitable interest in the property. Okay, you can't just go bring a buyer and a seller and say, hey, this person wants to buy your house, give me $5,000. You've got to have an equitable interest in the property, and the way you go about getting equitable interest in the property is by putting the property under contract, all right? So you're going to negotiate with the seller. Once you have agreed on a price, you're going to use a purchase and sale contract to put the property under contract. When both of the parties, both you and the seller, have signed the contract, you now have equitable interest in the property. So once that happens and you find an end buyer, you're going to use an assignment of contract to assign all of your rights in that purchase and sale contract that you have with the seller. You're going to use the assignment of contract to assign all of your rights to your end buyer. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have the proper paperwork and that if you're not licensed, that you're not running around out there brokering without a license, because you could get yourself into trouble. So you do that again by putting the property under contract with the purchase and sale contract. The second part of the question was about can you wholesale properties, or do I just wholesale properties that are free and clear? Can you wholesale properties that have mortgages on them? Yes, you can wholesale properties that have mortgages on them. You just have to be aware that when the property goes to closing, in order to give your end buyer clear title, those mortgages are going to have to be paid off, okay? So a lot of times what happens is that sellers will owe too much on the property. So even if they wanted to sell it to you at the price that you would need to get it for, they're not able to because they owe too much, and those mortgage holders have to be paid off at closing. Now, with that being said, sometimes I actually just had a student in my coaching program. Last week he closed his first deal, and the seller actually brought it was like $33,000 and some odd dollars to closing to make the deal work. So that does happen sometimes, but sometimes there's just not enough equity in the property. They owe too much on it. They don't have the cash to bring to closing, so the deal doesn't work. But you can definitely wholesale properties with mortgages on them, as well as free and clear properties. The last part of the question, I cannot remember what it was. As far as the how do you structure the paperwork? I touched on this a little bit already, but when you are doing a wholesale transaction, when you're working with a private seller, you're going to use, like I said, the purchase and sale contract to put the property under contract, and then once you find the end buyer, you're going to use an assignment of contract agreement to assign your rights in that purchase and sale contract to your end buyer. So the assignment of contract basically says, I, Stephanie Davis, am assigning all of my rights and interest in the contract for 123 Main Street over to Billy Buyer for X amount of dollars, and that X amount of dollars is going to be my assignment fee. So both of those contracts, both the purchase and sale contract and the assignment of contract agreement, are going to go to the title company that's closing the deal. I recommend that you have a title company lined up. One of the first things that you do when you get started wholesaling is find an investor-friendly title company and close your deals there. But whoever the title company is that's going to be closing the deal is going to get both of those contracts, and then on the day of closing, your end buyer is going to show up with the cash to purchase the property, and then the title company will cut you a check for your assignment fee, pay off the if there are any liens or mortgages on the property, and then if there's any money left over, that will go to the seller. But that's all handled by the title company, and the title company will cut you a check for your assignment fee at closing. So that's basically how it works. If you need more detailed instruction, or you have questions about how to fill the contracts out, the purchase and sale contract and the assignment agreement, I do have them available on my blog for free. There's no charge for them. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you go to flipthiswholesaler.net, that is where you'll find them. On the right-hand side, there's a box that says free wholesaling contracts. So you just put your email address in there, and then you'll get a link where you can go and download. I have the assignment contract, purchase and sale contract, and an option agreement, and then there are videos where I show you or explain to you how to fill those contracts out. So like I said, they're free. If you have questions, you need some more explanation, go check those out for sure. Again, it's flipthiswholesaler.net. That is all for today. Guys, have a fabulous afternoon, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.